Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kenza James. For our new subscribers, you're welcome. For the old ones, you're all welcome, and I love you all. So today we are going to learn how to cut a trumpet skirt and a half-cut peplum blouse with a princess dart. Then it's actually going to have a puff sleeve and a mandarin collar with a zip in front of it. So this style is most suitable for breastfeeding mothers, or just if it's your style or your preference. So let's run into what we'll be using for this tutorial. So we'll be using this print here. Is from my Ankara collection. This is Chigambi from my wax collections. You can check me out, Timmy Kenza James, on Instagram and Timmy Kenza James on Facebook to place your order if you love this. So we have this, and then we have a French cuff, we have our ruler and our chalk for marking lines, we have our scissors, our hip cuff, and I'm going to be using a tape most definitely. So let's get into the video proper. So guys, I've gone ahead to iron my fabric and folded it in half like this, folded it in two. Then I've marked my line. The total length of my skirt, we are starting from the skirt, sorry, the total length of my skirt is 27.5. so the skirt is a trumpet skirt, which is sectioned in two parts, the upper side and the lower side, which the lower side is a flay and the upper side is just like we have our straight skirt or our pencil skirt. So for the upper part of the skirt is supposed to be measured 17.5, but I have 20 here because I'm going to be chopping out 1 inch from this side to remove this writing here, and then I'll be needing 1 inch to join the upper part of the skirt to the flay. Then I'll also be needing half an inch on this side to join the waistband. So that's why I have 20 inches here. So I'm going to be measuring from her waist, the client's waist, to the hip line, which is 8 inches. I'm marking 8 inches here. Then I'm going to rule this into a straight line. So I'm going like this. So this part of the skirt is not supposed to get to the knee point. So before the flay begins, that's why I'm not taking the knee measurement. So I'm going to be inserting my waist measurement now. The waist is 34, of my client is 34. So I'll be dividing 34 by 4 because at this moment I'm working on the front side. So, and I'm folding the front side into two. So here we have 8.5. I'm going to insert 8.5. Then 1 inch for that allowance. Then I'm adding 2 inches for the sewing allowance. Then I'm going to add this half an inch here because I want to add a waistband to the I'm adding half an inch here because I'm adding a waistband to this skirt, and the waistband is going to have an elastic, so that's why. So on the hip line, the hip is 39 divide by 4. Here I have about 9.7 plus 2 inches sewing allowance. Then I'm going to take the same thing here that's on the hip here. I have 12 inches in total. I'm going to take out 1 inch from it, making 11 inches. Then I'm just going to grab my hip curve, and then I'll be drawing this like so. So I'm just going to straight out this line here. So here we go. This is our skirt. So I'm just going to take out this part of the skirt, like I said, before I'll cut out my skirt like so. here we go. I'm just going to snip this point to know which side is the upper side of it, because the curve on this skirt is not that much. So I'm just going to shift my fabric like so that I will give way to be able to cut my back piece. So here we go. Just grab my iron. The iron is not too hot as well. And I'm going to place my front piece. Then I'll place this front piece. I'll leave my allowance for my zip. I want lots of allowances there, because the client is actually a nursing mother, so she's most likely to lose or add weight anytime. So here I have my zip allowance here, so I'm just going to cut out my skirt. I'm just cutting out the exact same thing. Then I'm opening my zip allowance here, cutting it open. So here's our skirt piece. Now I'm going to cut out my waistband. So this piece that we have here, just going to grab that and cut exactly like that, at least long enough to cover her waist and also have allowance to insert my hook and eye. So that's just what I'm going to do. Cut out my waistband like this. Here we go. So this is going to be our waistband. I'll drop that aside. Then we are going to go ahead and cut the lower part of the skirt. Put on my iron. I'm going to fold it in 4 like this. Then I'll fold it just like you fold your handkerchief, or the way you fold a towel or a hanky. That's the same thing. I'm folding it into a box. Like so. Then I grab my iron. Giving it a nice press. This ironing is just for accuracy and for your cutting to come out neatly. So you remember we used 11 inches for the hem part of the upper side of the skirt. So 11 times 4, because it's folded in half, is going to be 44. 44 minus 4 inches for sewing allowance is going to be 40. So we are going to be dividing 40 by 6.28, which should be around roughly 5. But I want a little bit extra allowance that I can fold in to make the flayed part a little bit fuller. So I'm going to be using 7 inches for that. So I'm marking 7 inches like so for the circumference of the flay. I have a video where I taught on cutting flay. I made a flay skirt. So in case this is not in depth enough, I'm going to be linking it in the description box below, so you can go ahead and check that video. I want the flay part to be 10 inches. You remember we're using 17.5 on the upper side, so I want the flay side to be 10 inches. So in total I'm going to use 11 inches because I need 1/2 inch to hem the lower part of the flay and 1/2 inch to attach the peplum to the upper part of the skirt. So I'm just marking 11 inches from this radius point. If you don't know what radius is, when you watch that video you will understand. So I'm just marking 11 inches round, like so. Then I'm just going to give a neat line here that I'm going to cut. So I'll just go ahead and cut this out. So this is it. This is our flay. You can see this is our flay. It's looking lovely. On its own, it can be a flay skirt like this or a peplum for a blouse, but this is going to be at the hem part of a skirt down. So this is it for our skirt. You can see this is our skirt pattern. So let's get into cutting the blouse. So for the blouse, guys, I've gone ahead and I folded it in half like this and I gave it a good press. The blouse length is 26 inches, so I just marked 26 inches here and I put it in a straight line. I drew a line on the 26 inches mark. So this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be inserting my 3 inches, 8 inches standard measurements, 3 inches for neckline, 8 inches for shoulder line, then 1 each from the shoulder line downwards like this for the shoulder slope. Then I'm going to be connecting that into a straight line like so. Then I'll be marking 8 inches for the armhole line. Then altogether it will be 9 inches. I'll be marking this 9 inch here. If you don't know how to cut a princess dad's blouse, I'm going to be linking another video below for you, because I have a video like that for my on my channel. So this 8 inches here, I'm going to mark it here so that I can rule it into a straight line. Then I'm going to be inserting my vertical measurement. For my vertical measurement from my shoulder to bust is 12 inches. So from this straight line here to here, from this line here to the bust inches, 12 inches, to the bust line 12 inches. Then from the shoulder to the under bust is 16 inches. So I'm just going to come over here, mark that 12 inches, 16 inches. Then I'll rule it into a straight line like this. I'm going to rule that like this. So I'm going to take my bust span measurement on my bust line. This will be my shoulder line, my bust line, my under bust line, and then the length of the blouse. I'm not worried about the affluence because that point is going to carry a flay, but let's just insert the affluence line. I'll be using 18 inches like this because that's where the flay is going to be starting. So just insert my affluence like this. Then I'm going to mark my bust span measurement, which is 4 inches, actually 8 inches, but divide by 2 because my fabric is folded in 2. So I have 4 inches like this to the hem of the blouse. I'm just going to rule that into a straight line. Then on the under bust, I'm going to be taking 1 inch for that on both sides. On the affluence point, I'm taking 1 inch of that on both sides. Then I'm going to connect it, connecting this point like this. Connecting it like this. I'm not coming up from here. Usually on blouses like this you come up, but I'm not coming up because this part of it is going to be carrying a flay. So I'm going to connect my darts like so, connect it on this side like so, then on this other side just going to go ahead and take it into a slant curve, a slight curve, sorry. Then for my princess dart, on the shoulder line, taking half of the shoulder line, then ½ inch on both sides. I'm going to be connecting that to this for our princess dart line. On this line you can actually use a curve, a French curve, to give it a more flattery look, but I'll be using a ruler. Then you remember that at depth I'm going to pay back that 1 inch here. Then I'm just going to connect that like so. So here we go. So I'm going to be adding sorry guys, there's a serious mistake on this pattern, so I'm just going to show you what the error is. You remember I said we are going to be having a zip at the front side of the dress here, so I didn't leave that zip. I didn't leave allowance for the zip. So this is what I'm going to do. So this can also happen to you. So this is how to correct it. Just like I have my drafting here, I'm just going to shift this a little, shift my fabric a little like so, switch my iron on, give it a nice press. So everything is just going to be in place and it's going to be the same thing. It's just going to be the same thing. So from here now, this line here, just where my pattern was before, I'm just going to rule a straight line there. Rule a straight line. So we're even glad it's a mistake that will not make us start all over again. So I have my allowance now. So I'm just going to insert my horizontal measurement. Her bust measurement is 39 inches. So on the shoulder line, 39 divided by 4, whatever the answer is, I'll mark it here. Then this 1 inch here that we said that at depth, I'm going to insert that 1 inch there. Then 1 inch to join the both sides together. Then I'm taking another 1 inch, sorry, 2 inches for sewing allowance. So on the affluence side, affluence measurement is 34. I'm just going to be dividing 34 by 4 like this. 34 divided by 4. I'll just insert that here. I'm not starting from my zip point, I'm starting from here. So I insert that. These 2 inches of that we took here, bringing it here. 1 inch to join the both panels like this. then 2 inches for sewing allowance. Then on the whatever I have here, like this is what I'm going to be adding here at the lower part, and that's because I'm going to cut out this part. We are going to be using it for the flay. So I'm just going to rule this to straight line like so, and like this. Then I'm going to connect using my French cuff. I'm connecting this line here to this point here to get my armhole cuff like this. Then on the neckline, since we're having a mandarin neckline on this dress, I'm just using 3 inches by the 3 inches on the front side. So I'll be connecting it with my French cuff like this. That's 3 inches by 3 inches. So this is it for our front side. I'm just going to go ahead and cut it out. I'm going to go ahead and cut this, cut everything. I'll keep my measurement book aside. Opening my zip side, I'm just going to cut the zip side open. So there we go. So our center front, then the side front. I'm just going to be cutting out my side front now. So here we go. Here's our center front and our side front panel. So you remember we said there's going to be a flay here. So from this affluence point, I'm going to be subtracting like ½ inch to join the flay. Then I'll be cutting it out like this. So this is how it's going to be. This point will be here. Then we are going to have a flay on this other side. So I'm just going to be cutting the back side of the blouse now. So for the back side of the dress, I'm not going to be adding a zip at the back side because we have a zipper at the front side of the dress already. And then you remember it's a flay blouse, but the flay did not extend to the center front of the dress. So at the back, you remember we cut out the side front from the affluence point. So that's what we have here, 18 inches. Then I have this 1 inch here for joining the flay and the upper part of the dress. So I just ruled a line on 19 inches. So here we go. So now I'm going to be inserting my 3 inches, 8 inches standard, 3 inches, 8 inches, like so. Then I'm coming down by 1 inch for shoulder slant. I'm going to be connecting my shoulder slant to my 3 inches neckline. Coming down 8 inches for my shoulder line. So altogether is going to be 9 inches. So on this line here, I'm marking 9. On this side, I'm marking 9. So I'm going to be ruling this into straight line. This is going to be our armhole line, like so. Then on the armhole line, I'm marking 8 inches like so. Then I'm going to be connecting the 8 inches to the shoulder slant line. Then I'm going to be inserting my bust measurement, which is 39 inches divided by 4, like this. Then I'm adding 2 inches sewing allowance, like this. Then on the affluent line here, I'm going to be inserting my affluent measurement, which is 34 inches divided by 4. I'm used to just dividing it with my tape, guys, so you can actually use that. It makes it a lot easier. I have 8.5, like this. Then I'm going to be inserting 1 inch for that allowance, for my dart, 1 inch, then 2 inches sewing allowance. Just going to be connecting this line here. I'm not making anything extravagant at the back. It's just going to be a dart, not a princess dart. So I'll find the midpoint of the shoulder line, which is going to be 4 inches. Then I'm going to put my French curve on that line, like that, to connect the both points, like this. Then I'm going to mark. Just going to go ahead and mark. So that's my armhole line. Now on the neck depth, I'm just using 1 inch. On the neck depth is just 1 inch, and that's because I'm going to be adding the collar. So I'm just going to use my French curve and give it a nice curve, like so. So I'm just going to cut it out. This is it. This is our back panel. You can see there's no zip allowance whatsoever. So I'm just going to keep this aside. Then this piece is from our front piece, so this one will determine the length of the flay. So here we go. The flay is 8 inches, so I'm just going to keep this piece also aside. So all this part of the fabric that is not straight, I'm just going to cut this out so that I can have space to fold and cut my allowance, my flay. So I'm just going to put on my iron. Then I'll fold it in 4 like I folded my skirt. Just like I folded my skirt flay. So that's the same thing I'm going to be doing on the flay for the blouse. So I'm just going to fold it into 4 like a handkerchief. Just doing this on camera so that you would see and know how you do it. You don't have to cut this out, so that you just get the idea, so that you know it's not always simple like the way they will just show you and all that. So sometimes you have to set, it will not be properly done. Sometimes it can be that stressful, guys. So I just want you to see the process. Just enjoy the process. have it done now, guys. Make sure that everything is seated properly like this. By now our iron should be hot enough. So for the radius here, I'm using 5 inches, so I'm just going to mark that 5 inches round like so. I'm using 5 inches because I want it extra. The waistline is 34, so I want it to be bigger than 34 so that the flay can be full. Then the length of everything is 8 inches, but I'm using 9 inches because I'll be needing ½ inch to hem the down of the flay and another ½ inch to sew together with the blouse, so making 1 inch. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark this round, then I'll cut it out. So here we go. This is another flay. This time around I'm going to open one part of the flay open. So here we have it. This is our flay that is going to go around the blouse. So here we go. These are our other panels. We have all our panels here that we'll be needing, guys. So this is it about cutting this. So I'm going to be cutting the sleeve since I have so many sleeve patterns on my channel. I'm going to be cutting this. So guys, if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section below, or you can send me a message on my Instagram, James, or on my Facebook, James, and I will readily be available to answer you all. Guys, this is it about cutting our outfit. So here we have our panels. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, share this video with your friends, subscribe and hit the notification bell to get notified whenever I have a new video up on the channel. See you in my next video, guys. Bye.